and we are live on YouTube. So, family, the phone lines are open. I'm opening them up right now. So anybody want to call in, the number is 614-556-4535. We are going to try to do a 2-story night, right? So those that call in, I will give you opportunity to share what's on your mind, to share some of your struggles. But then we're going to have to get as rapidly as we can. We're going to have to get right back to these folk tales so that we can go on and start building. You know what I'm saying? Because it's cool for us to deal with some personal stuff, but then what these proverbs allows us to do is to kind of extract just a little bit of the personal stuff so that we kind of think outside of ourselves so that we can start making the connections within ourselves so that we become better people. And that's what the 224 self-help process is all about. It's about us exploring us. I want you to explore you. You know what I'm saying? Because all of the wisdom will do you no good. All the wisdom in the world will do you no good if you don't explore yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we got a lot of people with a lot of supposed answers, but they have never really done any true internal work. And what we call for and what we ask for people to do at Gye-Nyame Journey, do some personal work. You know what I'm saying? Push yourself to your limits. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself in uncomfortable positions. That's what warriors have to do. Right now, for some reason, Uber Conference doesn't like me. So I know what I have to do. I'm going to go straight into Uber Conference. I'm going to type it in and go log in from the site. Look at that. Everything is working against me. But we still going to make it work. Who out there so I know who out there? Throw your thumb up so I can see who that is so I can send you out a shot. And thank you for joining us. So I got to go the long way to get Uber Conference so I can make sure that those that want to call in can call in. We have some people, some very excited people that will be calling in tonight. So hopefully, because you never know how the world works. We're going to be pulling from Aesop Fables. This is the complete original translation from the Greek by Aesop, translated by George Fowler Townsend. So Uber Conference is up. Let's see if they're going to allow me in. Because I might have been kicked out. You know how I am. Get rowdy and get out of hand. Check 1, check 2, check 1, check 2. Want to make sure that y'all can hear me. Is my mic working? Check 1. Okay. We'll use that. Let me go to my Hootsuite, make sure I post up this, and we're about to get started. I try to be as prompt as I can. Today I was held up because I had 2 nation building conferences today, right? Calling with, talking to some real nation builders, real people out here in the community doing some work, not just, oh, good. I'm glad you can hear me. How you been doing, Anubis? It's good to see you. What's the date today? 4 days until your birthday, right? Congratulations, man. I'm glad that you are in the house. Shouts out to the Unsleeping one of my daily toasters, who helps us hold it down here at the journey. Sister CeeLo is on the line. I see people getting those texts and they're coming in. Brother Shaka is on the line. I know he about to call in probably. We know we're going to probably get Lady J calling in. I am in bed feeling, oh, man, right? You know what? Anubis, I got sick right before my birthday. You know what I'm saying? That's when I got the crick, a couple of days before my birthday. How old are you when you make this transition into the new phase of your life? What's up, CeeLo? You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure to have everybody that's coming in. I know y'all coming in slowly but surely. We're going to have us an excellent conversation. This is going to be a life-changing conversation. This is going to be a nation-building conversation, and I can't wait to get started, but I got to make sure everything is up and running properly. I want to make sure I got the number up here so that everybody that needs to call in can call in. Y'all see now, I'm about to explain some stuff that's going on with Brother Hatim on this day. Call in at 614-556-4535. There we go. We're going to save it. But this time it has my body aching everywhere. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But that, you know, that's good. That lets you know that you're alive. You know what I'm saying? Right now, my neck reminds me that I'm alive. And that's a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing because, like, one of the things that, you know, in my studies that I came to terms with a long time ago is that it's a few things that we can't do that, in a sense, gods can't do. You know what I'm saying? There's a few things that we can do that gods can't do. Gods and goddesses can't do. We die. We grow old. We experience life. You know what I'm saying? While a lot of the deities that we place up high can't experience some of the things that we can experience. We experience sickness. We experience calamity. We experience a lot of these things. And this is what, this is the power of being human. And when we want to get in touch with the divine, what we have to do a lot of times is that we have to be able to push ourselves. This is why our ancestors came up with rites of passage. When you really, really look at the rites of passage process, it pushes the individual to a point, right, to where they come face to face with their God. They come face to face with everything that they believe in. And they really have to make a choice on, I'm going to believe in this, I'm going to have faith in this, and I'm going to let it work for me, or I'm just going to allow myself to waste away. And in modern society, we done strip that away, right? So now, you know what I'm saying, people don't really have to really believe in nothing. You could be a closet atheist and get away with it. You know what I'm saying? And you could say that you believe in God, but a lot of people only go to church to pay an insurance policy on possibly going to heaven. You know what I'm saying? So they can have an argument when they get to the gates of heaven exist and argue and say, well, I paid my tithes. It's an insurance policy. You know what I'm saying? Old time religion, as my elders would say, old time spirituality forced the individual to have to face the calamities of life so that you can really prove that you believe in the shit that you're talking. Right now in America, you know what I'm saying? Right now, we live in a society where you can talk shit, but you don't really have to believe in it. You can talk about God, but you don't really have to call on God. You know what I'm saying? You call on the government. You call on the politician. You call on your boss. You know what I'm saying? You call on the money that you're making. You don't really have to call on this higher power. You know what I'm saying? But what we bringing back with Gye-Nyame is, boom, hey, you say you believe? Family, we're going to push you to the limit where you have to be able to come face to face with God, because the only time we come face to face with God is in hardship. I'm talking about face to face. Now, a lot of us talk to him from a distance, or talk to her from a distance, or talk to it from a distance. You know what I'm saying? When we doing good. But it's in those hard times where we really get to see what's real. And this is what Gye-Nyame Journey is all about. This is why we talk about the Phoenix. We don't talk about no other sacred. Why the Phoenix? Because the Phoenix, in order to live as long as it does and live eternally, the Phoenix has to consume itself in the fire. And that's symbolic for us, right? We have to consume ourselves with the fire of our belief. We have to consume ourselves. And when you consume yourself, it's not comfortable. You can't stay comfortable. Right? And many of us we just want to be comfortable. Right? So we have mediocre lives. We have lives when we get along. We have lives when we accept. We have lives when we choose down rather than choosing up, because choosing up means that I have to consume myself. in the flyers of what I really believe in. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is not a path for everybody. This is why the Daily Toasters are small, because how many people really want to get up at that time and listen to a crazy old man? You know what I'm saying? But we got a team. And I need you to understand, family, together, we're going to accomplish a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Because just like I try to bring value to your lives, y'all bring value to my life. I need y'all to understand that. And by us being able to bring value to each other's life, what principles that we practice? We're practicing Ujamaa, right? Which is not about economics. It's about resources. Economics is about the control of resources. So when I bring value to you and you bring value to me, and then somebody like I could be down up under the weather, or I could not be feeling up to par, and somebody like Shaka get up on and be like, we're gonna do the show any damn way. You know what I'm saying? Or I could be wrong, and a brother like Anuba be like, brother, I tell him boom, 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 and he's doing the research. Or brother like Kwame, look, dude, these figures are wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's power. You know what I'm saying? People talking about, you know, right now, a lot of people are caught up on a Wakanda piece, when in fact, a lot of us, one of my elders, Elder Tony, told me years ago, you know what I'm saying? We was talking about something. Elder Tony said, brother, and I never understood this until he explained to me, he said, you can't see the forest for the trees. Right? I'm in the midst of Wakanda. I'm in the midst of paradise. I'm in the midst of it, but because I'm caught up behind the trees, I can't see. I can't see it. I'm caught up in the trees. I haven't been able to pull back and see the forest. And what y'all do and what we do for each other, we allow each other to see the forest. Brother, you in the forest. You cool. Just keep walking. All right. Shouts out to Brother Shaka. Shouts out to Anubis. Shouts out to CeeLo. Shouts out to Miss Tiandra. I see you. She say strength and healing to you, Anubis. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? She read the line that we've been putting on here, and she went out, and one of the other Daily Toasters, she sent out that energy. Seeing that, family, that's what this is all about. Ultimately, that's what it's all about. So the lines are open, 614. Uh-oh, Shaka, you on the line? I can't hear you. Oh, because my speaker not on. Hey, it ain't the spiritual animals, it's me. I'm sorry. How you doing, Shaka? Can you hear me? Shaka. Oh, hold on. And y'all put up with my foolishness. I hear you now.
You know what? Like this. When I hear you in Facebook, you sound great.
Can you hear me now?
But I'm in Facebook to hear you say something else.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, that's perfect.
Right, I wasn't plugged in, man. It wasn't the spiritual animals this time. It was Brother Hatim and his fuckery. I messed up. I must apologize. How you doing, sir? I see you changed your profile
I'm blessed.
picture.
How you doing?
I'm doing. I don't like how you looking at me on this profile picture, man. Trying to pose and snatch up all the ladies, man. You need to go on and pull up, young man. Pull up. Oh, I ain't get.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about you. Got this little profile picture up on here. Go on with the green hat on, man. Come on, man. Stare me down.
Oh, cool.
I see you. I see you on Uber conference.
Yes,
right.
I am. Hey, man,
go ahead.
I had a wonderful conversation earlier today. Wonderful. I posted up on Facebook and on Periscope. Gave the Uber conference number out on Periscope. A Caucasian man called from Texas, and I'm like, uh-oh.
It's popping, dog.
Uh-oh, what's going on here?
So now that you're on Uber conference, I'm gonna share my line with you. Because
what's up.
I got all the functions. I got all the functions on my Uber conference that you don't have. You know what I'm saying? So once you really get in there and start working it, we're gonna figure this whole thing out and we're gonna move on. But yo, you got something you want to share with the people tonight before we get into these these proverbs?
Yeah.
I mean, these folk tales?
Yeah, well, yeah, I want to kind of piggyback off of or you know, just give my 2 cents about what you were just talking about, you know, folks with mediocre lives versus those who you know, who live their lives like they had something to die for. At least that's what I take out of it. I'm paraphrasing. But you know, the piece is that earlier today when I was on a line, I had seen something that really was disturbing to me, and it was disturbing to me in a sense that this happens to us all the time. But when I saw it happen to another race, I felt very disturbed in the sense that now y'all get it, right? What I saw was it was a video of a Palestinian blogger, I guess. He's a professional blogger, and he's sitting somewhere in Jerusalem doing his, you know, like a streaming event. And as he's sitting on the sidewalk or sitting on the steps doing his thing, this Orthodox Jew kind of taps him on the shoulder and kind of you know, just greets him and asks him what his business is. I'm a blogger. He's like, how many views do you got? And the guy said 700 million. And he said, oh wow, that's great. He was like, where are you from? He was like, Palestine. He said, oh. He said, but you're not Palestinian. He's like, yeah, I'm Palestinian. He's like, oh, I thought you were intelligent. And then he goes, man. And then he goes to say, and the guy thought he was just joking at first. He's like, no. He's like, you got to understand, I work with Palestinians, and Palestinians are ignorant and barbaric. He said, you're not ignorant and barbaric. You're not Palestinian. He tried to tell this dude that he was French, right? And so in the midst of him having this conversation, he tells his 15-year-old niece comes up. This is the Jewish guy's niece, comes up, and she's like, you know, who's that man or whatever? He's like, oh, it's just some Palestinian. And the guy's like, yes, I'm Palestinian. You know, and she looks over at the grandfather and she's like, why is he proud of that? You know, and she was dead serious. And he goes on to tell his niece or his granddaughter, you know, maybe 10% of them are not terrorists, you know, but you know, so I saw this happen, and I talked about it a little bit on my show earlier, and you know, this guy calls in, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about that. We're talking about just different times in American history where we, you know, we have to keep an open mind and to be able to not block the blessings when people come into our lives as advocates, as allies. And, you know, it was very disheartening to see that, you know, this elder and his 15-year-old granddaughter,
who he's educating,
were far into their own world to even appreciate that. So right. That's kind of where my day has been. But my weekend, I was able to do some, you know what, and we'll talk about that later. But it's just been a great week for Nation Build.
Oh man, who you talking? And Lady J is on the line. Lady J, give it up. Let's go, girl. What's going on with you? Well, let me take that back. Woman, what's going on with you? Because I got to be, you know, because everybody's, you know, busting. You know, I got to watch how I speak now. But go ahead.
Everything's good with me. I agree. It's been a great day for nation building, a great week, a great month, great year so far, 2018. Yeah, I think that again, we're riding this wave. We are in the midst of this great awakening, and things, you know, if we continue to be consistent, things are going to continue to shake and wake up folks who are sleeping. Folks who think they're awake.
They need a nap.
Yeah. Yeah. Put some folks to sleep, rock some folks to sleep, bring about some consciousness, so it's just been awesome. And though sometimes I work on, I try to work. So I got this thing I say, and I say it's God's light, I just let it shine, right? It's God's light.
Right.
So sometimes I try to caution myself about what I say because, or saying too much, because I think people think that I am gloating or this is about me, but really I don't look at it that way. And so sometimes I try to dim that light, but I've got used to that, and now I'm just to the point where I'm just me, right? I'm not going to dim my light. You should just turn your light up. You know what I'm saying?
Turn it all the way up.
If the truth hurts, you should put in earplugs because I have an issue. And my issue is that I just have a hard time biting my tongue. And I'm just getting to the point where that's okay because that's just a part of my fabric.
Heather,
but I am loving the work that I.
Heather, wait, hold on. Sister Heather says, "Keep shining," and Kunga J. Go ahead, family. We all the way up in Chicago. We in New York. We in I don't know where Tiandra at because she be driving all the time when she be. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if she Columbus.
Everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? So we're building, family. So I want everybody to give yourselves a round of applause. Go ahead.
Before you go into it, man, I missed something very important, and I wanted to comment on Lady J. I got something for you too that might bring a different perspective on that piece. So hold that thought. Hi Tim, just about 15 minutes before I got on the line, I happened to have been scrolling and I saw Isaiah Washington, who I respect because I feel like Isaiah Washington, out of all the different celebrities that I might have met, he's one who I had met, and he was just always a real brother and talking, about real stuff and doing real research and not ever coming into a place of anyways, man, look, I had mentioned to him because, he was on a post that was loosely kind of probing for what his major role, like the role that makes him, would be about. And I asked him, I said, one of my brethren had been talking real serious at one point about remaking The Spook Who Sat by the Door. I said, Isaiah, how interested would you be with a project like that? And he immediately responded, very interested. So this is the second time that I've extended the Uber conference line to him to come into the conversation even. I don't know what to expect, but I can say this, locally, well, let's not even go there. The whole piece is that if we keep knocking, maybe he'll join us one day, or maybe, we'll get in touch, or maybe he'll extend a conversation with you. And so getting back to, so that's some big news to me. Lady J, I heard something yesterday that directly correlates with what you just said. Brother JoJo Hill, who's been on the line before, he was talking about counterfeiting, and counterfeiting. He went to the bank and asked the teller, like, when I gave you this bill, how come, you didn't look at that bill to see if it was counterfeit? She was like, well, the thing is that, he handed her a bill that he thought was counterfeit. And he said, well, how come you didn't look at that bill to see if it was counterfeit? She said, well, because we are trained to study the real bill, because there's so many ways that counterfeits can exist. But the major policy with counterfeiters is that they try to make sure that their bills are nowhere near the real. And so, Lady J, that rang in true with me, because when you live a life, when you don't have, everybody on your team that you think should be, or people, you feel is throwing hate in such a way, that's a lot of times they're doing you a service, because you don't need that counterfeit around you. And that's what I realize, is that, when you are the real, the counterfeiters don't want to be next. They don't want to have anything to do with you. They don't want to be in your presence. They don't want to have a conversation with you, because in conversation, it's like something that I heard, I think Farrakhan say a long time ago. It's like, when you're accustomed to drinking out of a spotty glass in a clean.
That's Elijah Muhammad. That's Elijah Muhammad. But go ahead.
You say that again?
That's Elijah Muhammad.
Elijah Muhammad? Right on.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I don't want to get jumped on, but go ahead.
Right on. So that was it. That was it. It was a message that I heard, and I felt like I needed to share.
Now listen, family. Now, one of the ways that our culture always dealt with counterfeits is to put them through the fire. That's what initiations for, because it allows you to take the counterfeit, get rid of them, right? And if there's some real in them, you can pull it out of them.
I think it goes back to the folktale that we had a few weeks ago with the I don't remember what it was. Was it a lamb? Was it a sheep who put on the lion's skin?
That's the ass.
Is that right? Am I saying?
That's the ass. You just don't want to cuss. It's the ass in a lion's skin. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the ass in the lion's skin. Okay. And so I referenced this earlier today to say that if you want to keep people, a lot of people like to keep people around them. Like, I like to learn from people. So I always want someone that's going to teach me something. I want to learn. So I'm not going to surround myself with people who know less than me. I'm going to surround myself with people who know more than me, because not only am I a teacher, I am a student, right? And so I feel like a lot of individuals like that. And so again, when you are spreading the truth and the gospel, they can't take it, right? They can't take it. And sometimes, I think that my delivery, I like to wrap my delivery in nice little pretty boxes. So whereas I am confrontational, I'm not confrontational, right? Because I don't want to offend you. I want you to be able to digest the words that I deliver to you. And so, like I said, it's an issue with cognitive dissonance, kind of like what you were saying about the gentleman, the story, or the guy who had the blogger, and these Jewish people walked up, and the things that they said, even after meeting him, they're going to continue to have their ideas about him, or those people, Palestinians. They're going to continue to put them in a box, even after seeing this individual, because the cognitive dissonance. They don't want to change their thinking.
Right. It's very uncomfortable.
They're not ready to. It's very uncomfortable. And so I find that with people, I work with, I love the group of people that the group of children that I work with, but I've noticed that the people who teach them are suffering from cognitive dissonance. Right. Right. In addition to many other things. And so though I can bombard you and I can show you images of the great things that people that look like them have accomplished, you will continue to believe that they can't accomplish anything. You will continue to believe that they can't, you know what I'm saying? And I get it, but that's okay. Well, that's okay that you're not, that's okay. I can't teach you what to think. I can only try and teach you how to think.
Now, and
teach you outside your level.
And that's the issue, because you are a teacher in the true sense. It's hard for us because the society has found a way to put everything in pretty little packages and make it possible for people not to think. And guess who is in the house? We have we have Brother Kwame, who said, Ptahhotep informs us to take counsel with the ignorant as well as the scholar, for both have something to teach, for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Right? I mean, and in many cases, we have to be that, right? But you know, at this point in my life, I'm more of a taskmaster, because I need to chase some of the fools away so I can make sure that the crumbs that I may be able to spare and throw around, I want to make sure that they're going to the people that need to eat. Now, those of you that had the energy to go and sit with fools, by all means, continue to do so. You know what I'm saying? But don't expect me to allow fools to go and sit as equals with my elders. I can't do that shit. I'm sorry. I'm not, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But hey, let's get into these stories. Y'all ready for these stories?
I just want to say one more thing. I'm gonna make
you always want to say one more thing.
Thinking about what he said about Isaiah Washington. So a couple of years ago, I actually got blocked on Instagram by Nas. I was on this rampage, and part of my rampage, I did. It's probably one of my greater achievements. But I was blocked because I
you said you got blocked?
That, these people have been
Well, hold on, stop. You said you got blocked by Nas?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. And what I was doing was I am waiting for I want a Black and Proud. These people are remaking all these songs, and I felt like we needed a remake of James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud. And I just, in my head, I just knew that Nas was the person to do it. So on a regular, I had got even a group of people, we were doing it together, and we were just hitting his Instagram and his social medias, and we were telling him, remake this song, this is what we need for the movement. Yeah, but it got me blocked. But that's all I'm going to say. He didn't respond.
He did respond. Hold on. He did respond.
If Nas remakes I'm Black and I'm Proud, you guys, I gave him the idea. I planted that seed.
Exactly. He did respond. He did respond.
Okay, that's it.
You were successful. He responded.
He didn't do it.
All right, so here we go. So tonight I'm calling this a two-story night because last week I wasn't able to do it, but Lady J and Brother Shaka had a marvelous conversation. I want to thank both of them, even though they went in on my age a little bit.
God! You bring this up one more time.
I'm just saying.
Bring it up one more time,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I made it past.
All right, folktale number one. Folktale number one.
All right. The old man that was disrespected by some young punks. That's folktale number one. Y'all heard that one? About the bucket list?
Hey, man.
About the bucket list and buying houses and shit and getting married and doing all this shit before they... Y'all heard that one? Oh, my fault. Oh, you talking about the folktale out the book. I'm sorry. Okay. The first one from last week that we're going to go through. And family, those of you that are out there, what I'm going to ask is that you put on alert for Gye-Nyame Journey so that you know when we're doing these shows, right? And you could ignore the one at 5:15 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Because I got daily toasters that get up and do that with me. You might not be at that point right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's very important that we salute our ancestors, right? Some of y'all might be living in different parts of the country where 5 a.m. is 4 a.m. or 1 a.m. or 2:30 a.m. or whatever, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But go and like and share the content. And also, I want you to support the Mind of Shaka as well as Lady J, because we need to be following each other and supporting each other and building up our network, because what's happening right now is the very people that's listening to us are going to be the people that in a sense support the next steps of what we need to do. Right? I just want to throw that out there. So here we go. The sparrow and the hare. A hare pounced upon by an eagle, saw very much and uttered cries like a child. A sparrow upbraided him. Not for a sparrow upbraided her and said, "Where now is thy remarkable swiftness of foot? Why were your feet so slow?" While the sparrow was thus speaking, the hawk suddenly seized him and killed him. The hare was comforted in her death, and experience said, "Ah, you so lately, when you supposed yourself safe, exalted over my calamity, have now reason to deplore a similar misfortune." Do I need to read it again?
Yeah, one more time.
All right. A hare pounced upon by eagle, sobbed very much and uttered cries like a child. "Why me, Lord? Why me? Oh God!" A sparrow, seeing what happened, began to down talk to the hare and say things like, "Where now is thy remarkable swiftness of foot? Why were your feet so slow?" And while the sparrow was talking down to the hare, a hawk suddenly seized him and killed him. The hare was comforted in her death, and experience said, "Ah, you who so lately, when you suppose yourself safe, exalted over my calamity, have now reason to deplore a similar misfortune." Shouts out to Mr. Kamania Hines. Kimiana Hines. All right, y'all got it?
Yeah, I got it, man.
Who want to go first? Y'all better not let me go. Ooh, crush it. Y'all quiet.
Yeah, I like to construct my knowledge for my responses, I should say. So I would like to go first.
Damn.
Okay, you just gonna push me right out there.
That's what I'm saying. Here come the bus. Here come the bus.
Yes. All right. So check this out. Listen to the dialogue. It reminds me of a Charlie Murphy. Anybody ever seen Most Better Blues?
Mm-hmm.
Every time Most Better Blues, Charlie Murphy, with Sam Jackson, the other henchman, it came into the bathroom. It got Giant, played by Spike Lee, because he needed to pay his debt. And so they came to kick his ass. They took him outside, and they whipped him good. And Charlie Murphy stick his face out the door, and he said, "Spike Lee, your crocodile mouth finally got your hummingbird ass hit."
Mm-hmm.
And so that happened. Lee, played by Denzel, goes out to rescue his buddy, and he snatched his horn from him and beat him in the face with his own horn.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Now, it didn't all the way correlate.
No, I didn't. I wasn't going to say that, but it did. I mean, it's close. If you would have said that Bleak punched Charlie Murphy in the face, I mean, and then went out and helped the buddy, I could see. But go ahead. You going something.
Right. So, the thing is that, listen, as bystanders, sometimes we take the affirmative out of here. And we jump out there, and I've seen it happen. I've recently seen it happen, man. It's where you have who in a regular scenario, your ally, and then when you deal with some heat, this individual turns around like, "Oh, well, you should have done that in the first place." Going to be like that.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, to me, that Sparrow, or the character played by Sparrow, is some absolute cowardice, if you ask me.
Well, now,
right. I don't know what their relationship was with the hair before hair.
I mean, let's extrapolate that. What do you think? Because if you listen to the words that he said, what happened to your swift feet? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't your feet move as fast? You know what I'm saying? So there's a relationship.
Because now we're assuming that because he came out of my set, that this hair was all braggadocious in his regular life, right? And he bragged about it. But that doesn't necessarily have to be the case out there.
I ain't know what I'm doing. I ain't extrapolate that. You extrapolate that and put it on me. I'm just saying, for all I know, I was thinking that the sparrow was watching the rabbit. It was like, damn, I wish I could run like that motherfucker, man. Man, I wish I could run like that. Wow, look at him. Oh, man, he moved. Because all of us, we got people that sit on the sidelines and look at what we do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Shocking some people that be at the club like, man, I wish I could play an instrument like that motherfucker. Shock, look at him on the keys and sing it. The keys smooth. And then as soon as something happened, what happened to the music? I remember one time we had a meeting at that time it was the Underground House, and I had a very talented musician, and we was talking about the fees and the dues of maintaining the house. And the brother started talking, and somebody looked at him and said, "What are you gonna do? You gonna drum up some food?" And we couldn't remember that. But it was done. It was funny, but it was done from a spiteful situation because they didn't have no talent. They wasn't bringing anything in the house, but this brother brought the talent as well as a little bit of money into the house. You know what I'm saying? And they looked at that and they got, you know what I'm saying? They got upset. So they're looking, in a sense, at this person from a perspective of possible jealousy.
Oh man, that's another statement. I'll take it back to a time where a particular brother used to come into my house as a friend to have conversations with me and just to hang out. And all the way out, every time he would grab at least 15 of the CDs that I go out and I make money with. This guy was taking my CDs and trying to sell them to the retail shop before they even got out to the public. To the public. Right.
Your sense of the sparrow is like this. The sparrow is hanging around. You know what I'm saying? Possibly looking at the rabbit. But then come from your perspective, the rabbit could have been braggadocious. We don't know. But we can look at it. Go ahead.
I got two things.
Wait, hold on. First I want to say, Shaka, hold on. First off, Shaka, she milked everybody out to listen. She milked everything that me and Shaka said, and she came up with a point. That's sexual harassment.
And guess what? I don't have no problem with you saying that. That's what we should do.
Exactly. That's you learn it.
That's about the quote. That's exactly who Van Green despises. I just watched the interview earlier.
I didn't know you got to say this, but I had to look up the quote and I wanted to know who said it. So according to Google, he said it, so I'm going to give him credit. I didn't say it. But if they don't look down on anyone unless you are helping them up. And it sounds like the sparrow, he could have thrown life into the hair. He could have said, here, you got this. Real quickly, you're fast. He could have thrown life into that hair and gave that hair just what that hair needed to get out of that situation. But instead, he did not put it out in, and that was the cause of the The second thing I want to say is I actually had a good friend of mine for many years. You know, this girl had been very well versed in my story and in my testimony, my child and my church relations. And not only that, she had been in my life since I was in high school, so she had a front row seat. And so as time went on, I would face relationship, I would think she resisted me. So she had to love for me, but it was something about me that she hated. And it might have been that very thing that she wished she had for herself. So one day I realized that the only reason why she kept me around is because she had watched me overcome these obstacles. And whenever there came an obstacle that I did not overcome, whenever I fell flat on my face, she wanted that front row seat. One way to witness it. And so she said, now we're no longer, I I'm still her friend. She's not my friend. But I can't control how people feel about me. I can control how I feel about them. But it was a moment of growth in my life when I realized that some people keep you around because they want to witness your fall. You understand? They want to witness that. And so that's what I took away from that. You know, if there is a moral or a point to this, I'm just going to say, you shouldn't look down on folks unless you're trying to help them.
And now, in that moment that the sparrow was looking at the downfall of the hare, was the moment that the sparrow slipped and fell into his own demise. See, because a lot of times people mess up with this. But hold on, I want to say this. One thing that I want you to understand is that the sparrow couldn't speak life into the hare because the hare's fate was sealed. Because we got to understand, there's two different birds in the story. We have the eagle. If you ever seen a full-grown eagle, once the eagle, if you ever seen the claws and the hands on the eagle, once that eagle had a grasp on that hare knew that his fate was sealed. And that hare didn't need to listen to nobody talk about him going down. And many of us have been in this situation in our life. We know I don't fuck it up. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Let me come on my fate. You know what I'm saying? And maybe the sparrow could have gave him some encouraging words, but rather than even giving encouraging words, the sparrow took that time to berate this.
Let me ask you something, Tim.
Go ahead.
Is there any possibility that this was all a trap from the beginning? I'm going to plead out. I'm going to cry out like a child. I'm going to get someone's attention, have them either come to my rescue or come and be the victim themselves. I think about people who just do that. That's why I don't attend any pity parties.
Well, hold on.
That's why I don't show up. I don't accept any invitations. Yeah.
A strategy of war.
Yeah, we missing something.
Well, I'm gonna bring. It's your turn next, Shaka. A strategy of war is learning how to beg. Now, a lot of people don't understand this because when you act like you're giving up, sometimes people either show a little bit of mercy or they loosen their grip on you, which gives you a moment to escape. Like when I was young, I had an aunt. I love my aunt, but my aunt would start some shit in a minute. So she went to a bar. I was 17 years old. She went to a bar where another one of my aunts was the MC and start talking some shit to a man. And this man knocked her the fuck off the chair and chased her up out the bar. My aunt immediately came to the house, to my grandmother's house, where I was there and I was young, strapping, 17 years old. You know, I was in fit shape, and she came in talking about this nigga just threw me off the bar stool. Boom, boom, boom. My uncle was there. My uncle said, I ain't gonna go fight for her because your aunt be talking shit. I said, well, take me up there. So I went up to the bar, and I went into the bar, and I didn't know my aunt was the DJ. One of my aunts, or my mom's best friend, who I named Gina after, was a DJ up in there. I walked up into the bar. The security guards, they knew, you know, this little, you know, I ain't gonna say this little OJ. He coming into the whatever, boom. Let me get the fuck out this nigga's way. I walk into the bar and I whoop this nigga's ass up in the bar. And what happens is that the security is coming to get me, but my aunt is on the mic say, oh, don't mess with him. Get the other nigga, throw him out, and let's, take the fight outside. You just don't hurt him. Point at me. So I go outside and I'm chasing this nigga down the street. Excuse my language. And I'm running up on him and he stops and he turns around at me because he knew he caught. He said, bruh, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, please. Come on, let me go. As soon as I drew back a little bit, this motherfucker had his fingernails and scratched me in my face and tried to attack me. And I ended up chasing him down the street a little bit farther. But what I'm saying is a strategy in war is learning how to beg and learning how to act like you surrendering so that you can find your moment. In that piece, that rabbit was doing that. Because there's a possibility that, maybe this eagle is going to have mercy on me. You know what I'm saying? Maybe this eagle might have a heart. And if I could reach the heart, maybe I'd get free. But then you got this sparrow flying alongside him talking shit. You and them fast feet. Where your fast feet at now? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Where the big money at now? This is what we do to each other. This is what our enemies do to us right now. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm bemoaning my fate. But I just want to throw that out there. But Shaka, you said we missing something. Go ahead.
What's the difference between an eagle in the sky and an eagle that's grounded?
An eagle that's grounded is vulnerable. An eagle in the sky, most of the time he's gonna be victorious because to attack from the sky is dude, that's power. That's why the Air Force is so powerful. But go ahead.
Right. So he was in the sky when he saw the air.
Right.
Let's believe that. Got that eagle eye. Now, he got down there and in a scuffle, while he trying to take this big ass hair compared to a sparrow, trying to take this big ass hair, and the hair is like, oh, please, man, look, no, not me. Hey, I got kids at home. And listen, I got 21 this last week. Come on, listen, whatever he was saying, every second that eagle was down there, he could have fell prey to any of the land animals.
That's true.
So, you understand? So while he's down there and he hears this little sparrow, and understand the eagle's appetite, he wasn't going to finish the whole hair. When you ever seen that? Hey, I've been to a zoo a few times. You throw a hair, any kind of rodent down there, it's got to be small for them to digest. They got a crop. They ain't got teeth. How they gonna devour all that? They don't eat all down to the bone. But all I'm saying is that the sparrow made himself known, made his presence known, and became the lesser of the hassle. And the eagle was on some Home Depot shit. Work smarter, not harder. I'm gonna go ahead, grab this little snack and keep it moving.
No.
That hair.
Hold on. You got the story. See, there's two birds. There's the eagle and there's a hawk.
Right.
The hawk grabs because you got to remember, when an eagle snatches, an eagle don't snatch and stay on the ground. The part of the process of an eagle strikes, he swoops.
So both of them dead. That's what you're saying?
Oh man, the hair was eaten by something. The hair was eaten by an eagle. The sparrow was caught by a hawk because while he was talking shit to the hair, he wasn't paying attention. Just like, see, and this also goes to a lesson for us. Here, listen. A hare pounced upon by an eagle saw very much and uttered cries like a child. A sparrow upbraided her and said, "Where now is thy remarkable swiftness of foot? Why were your feet so slow?" While the sparrow was thus speaking, a hawk suddenly seized him and killed him. So while the sparrow was talking shit to the hare, the sparrow lost sight of the fact that he was eligible as prey for somebody else. So oftentimes, what your enemies don't realize,
that's a whole different level.
Oh man, dude,
that's what we missed.
Yeah.
No.
That changed the whole story.
You know what I'm saying? The hawk snatched the hair off the ground. The sparrow was in the sky talking shit.
Yeah, Lady J, why don't you hit it since he's made this alternate ending happen?
This ain't alternate.
Yeah, we weren't using close listening skills. No, but I mean, it's just.
I was just listening to Lady J.
Yeah, whatever, you went first. What does that mean? So I followed you.
Oh, so now they bring
to demise.
You hear that, Heather? Somebody attacking one of those, one of your makungas. You better say something. You know what I'm saying?
But I think it's still the same thing. I think it's still the same thing. You throwing rocks, but you living in a glass house.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. There you go.
Right. And that's essentially what happened. You looking down on somebody, and yeah, you found yourself in the same situation.
You have a step away from being a player.
Something my dad told me, and it's useful in many ways. But something I used to have to recite this before I left the house in the morning. I am no better than nobody. Nobody's no better than me. My dad made me recite this all the time. And at first, because of the environment I grew up in, I thought he was shunning me or trying to prevent me from looking down on the addicts that were in my family. You know what I'm saying? The addicts that were in my community. The people that that some people would have looked at as the less haves. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought that he was preparing me not to look down on them. But also something that came out of that, especially once I grew up, was that even if you have more money, even if you have more things, even if you have more education, that doesn't make you any better than me. So even your skills, you might be better at things. You might better suited for things, but you're no better than me, right? And so here we have the consequence of what happens when you think you're better than somebody, or you're looking down on someone. I am no better than nobody. Nobody's no better than me. And that's the sparrow should have went with that.
The sparrow was not aware. Brother Anubis said, excellent metaphor. How Tillman makes so much sense on every level. That sparrow definitely was not fully aware of his environment and his surroundings. As Black folks, now let's expand this from our individual lives to our community life. To you know what I'm saying? It's like many of us are not aware of the environment or the surroundings that we are in, as we are in a sense praising or looking at the downfall of somebody that is very few differences between us. You know what I'm saying? The hare was a dinner on a plate, and the sparrow was an available dinner on a plate. As soon as somebody else get a chance, if we don't work together, we all are going to be. So until we start coming together, family, we're gonna have the fate of the hare and that sparrow. You know what I'm saying? Because think about this: the sparrow is up above. If the sparrow knew the rabbit well enough to know that the rabbit was quick of foot, knew that the rabbit was fast, he could have warned the damn rabbit and saved both of them. But no, I want to look at your downfall, and this is what we do with each other. You know what I'm saying? This is opposite of Ujima, which we moving in tomorrow. Collective worker responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both pray. Y'all need to, you know what I'm saying? Shit, y'all need to survive. You know what I'm saying? But no, I want.
I just got something.
Go ahead.
I often had this idea when I'm working with people who don't look like me, right? I think some of the time they don't look. We have similar obstacles because we are in that same in that same take rate or something, right? So I think about the other day I seen this time posted that this Caucasian European American woman had posted, and she was talking down on black people, right? And all of these, I mean, she was just being so nasty. But you're poor. But you're poor. When I'm looking at my neighbors again, I know better than nobody's no better than me. But this idea of this white privilege, that supremacy, people, especially with this current climate, right? It gave a lot of people a lot of courage to say a lot of things, right? Forgetting that your circumstances are very much similar to mine, right? This whole agenda, it affects you just like it affects me, right? Because certain things are class based, but even within that class space, it's race based, right? But folks be thinking like, I see it, I hear it, and I have to remind people, but you're poor. But you're poor. It just happened the other day. I've shared this when the young man was killed in the was killed at the courthouse. He was killed at the courthouse, in the courthouse, and a young teenager, right? Shaka, did you hear about this?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
No, I didn't hear about it.
Okay, so these people go to court. The police comes and get the mom because she has a warrant. The son begins to fight the sheriff deputy. The sheriff deputy pulls out a gun and kills the young man. So on my Facebook, which is my news source, I began seeing repeated posts about how screwed up that is, right? And what happened is my people automatically assumed that this kid was black, right? So they was already getting ready to go down there and shut the courthouse down. They were en route. Well, what happened was the kid was white. And he wasn't just white. He was poor white trash. He had all the tattoos. He had the sagging pants. And guess who came to his rescue? Not black one person. Hell no. Hell no. Nobody. Nobody. Not the people who look like him. Not nobody. And that was just like you said, that you seen something that made you realize something we go through all the time. Injustice is injustice, right? So I was kind of feeling something about my people because I'm like, well, shit, it was just wrong 2 minutes ago. Y'all were ready to fight the power 2 minutes ago. It was so wrong. But when we seen that man didn't look like us, we ain't got that to do. We gotta save our energy, right? But it was wrong.
Shit to do. I got some other shit to do.
Initially, it was wrong. And so what I liked about it was a slap in the face for people, for European Americans, especially those that live in poor areas on the white side or on the west side, to see that nobody's coming to your rescue, baby. You're in the same boat as us. You're in the same boat. And injustice against one is an injustice against all. Now you get to see how it feels. But unlike us, at least we real rally, right or wrong. He could have been in there with a gun and we would have took up for him. I'm telling you, like I know, I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
So let me ask you this. Do you think we should support Louis C.K. in this sex case the way that we did Bill Cosby?
Who defended Bill Cosby?
Yeah, I as soon as I said that, I was like, okay, look.
Shit. I was sitting over here like, well, nigga, what show you on? I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I wanna segue right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we kind of beat up on that one per family. I want y'all to understand our opinions are our opinions. And the thing that we do this show for is, one, as Lady J often say, is we're not teaching you what to think. We want to set examples on how to think. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the journey is all about. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to agree with us. You might come up with something different, and you might want to post something, and you might not, you might not have a voice or whatever, but feel free to comment. But once again, make sure you like and share, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Spreaker, whether you're on YouTube. Make sure you like and share this conversation, because we're trying to build this movement, because family, we catching hell everywhere. And we can't be like we can't be like the sparrow looking down on somebody when we need to be watching our environment and our surroundings.
Crabs in the barrel.
Somebody said crab. Sister Heather said crabs in the barrel. You know what I'm saying? We sitting up here laughing at the other crabs, pulling the other crabs down, and nobody is pointing out the fact that it's not the crabs that's really holding us down. It's the motherfucking barrel. You know what I'm saying? We mad at each other.
Only that, who put us in the barrel?
There you go.
We always say crabs in a barrel, but that's not a crab's habitat. How did he make it to the barrel?
Hey, but you know what? See, here's the thing about that, Lady J, is that there are those of us walking around that despise each other because we walk around here like we've been through slavery in the at the first hand. But I've heard through different conversations, people refer to us as the people who got over here and didn't have to pay their ticket. And
complaining, and y'all got all
heard that.
You're complaining and you got over here for free. How dare you? I mean, hey, but that's really when you might not hear it directly like that, but when you really listen to the rhetoric that is spoke about us, you hear this. You owe us. You got a free passage. My grandparents came over here and had to buy their goddamn ticket, and you got over here free and you're complaining. You're in a land of milk and honey.
Some of their ancestors didn't have to pay no ticket. Somebody paid it for them. And that's why their ancestors came over here and they were slaves and did your service. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm talking about many times. So people didn't pay some either.
Hold on.
And, I mean, I'm not.
Let's reserve the slave shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, I mean, I haven't seen that. In my research, I haven't seen that. I've seen indentured servant, but I haven't seen a lot of
they were slaves.
Okay.
They were slaves. They said over here, they said they're peasants. They was going to work them folks, them poor people, because you got to think about how their social hierarchy was over here. That's
Lady J.
They were never going to be able to elevate themselves. Those people who were peasants,
Lady J.
They were never. You got to think about what that social pyramid looked like in Europe.
Yeah, how it looked in Europe. In Europe, they was going to work to death. When they got over here, they had natives and they had Africans that they brought over so them motherfuckers could feel superior and be able to work themselves up. I'm sorry. I mean, I can't agree with you on that shit. Go with that.
Let me say.
Go with that.
Say this. Let me say this. I can start my own understanding. I can, and this is after much reading in my discipline, and I am convinced that, and I do believe that when it says that they were emptying out some of those prisons, sending over here they're less desirable, that's just what they did. They had a plan. And they had been exploiting people who looked like them, so they didn't give a damn, because over there it was all about, and the same thing it's about here, keeping the rich rich and the poor. That was key to them.
Wait, hold on.
That was key to them.
Hold on.
They had a plan. That plan fell through.
Lady J, you can't just talk louder.
Like they said.
Lady J, listen to me, baby. You got to understand. You got to understand that culture reigns supreme. These motherfuckers, you right, the rich is gonna stay rich, but they have to maintain their culture. And in order for them to expand, in order for them to expand, hold on, they have to expand their market so that more of them could get rich. And that's what they did when they moved over here. They didn't. I mean, you.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, Lady J, you
got to think about.
I have thought about it. I have thought about that
Think
shit.
about the fact that Europe is a continent. The same way.
No, time out. Europe. See, first off, wait.
Subcontinent.
Okay, be honest. Be honest. It's a small little piece of Asia. It's not a goddamn.
Right.
It's not a goddamn continent. Let's be clear about that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Eurasia, subcontinent, Europe.
Okay.
Those
very small place.
And how they
a very small place.
And how they viewed each other was very similar to other places where you have people who look alike and they still look at each other as different. All them Europeans, they were never one. They had been fighting each other for hundreds of years.
Lady J, but hold on. Lady J, but what happened? What happened?
Come on now.
Go on, bring it home. See, don't stop there because they fought one another till they realized what?
Till they realized what? You tell me, because they were still fighting each other when they got here. When did they realize?
Who was they fighting?
They was fighting each other.
I'll tell you what it is. Hey, listen, this is what I think.
The British didn't fight here on American soil.
What was they fighting about, Lady J?
Here for this land?
What was they fighting about?
Fight each other.
Wait a minute, Lady J. If that was the case, if they was just fighting each other, right? You would be free. They weren't just fighting. They weren't just fighting about that because that war could have still been going on right now. These motherfuckers found out for their better interest that they needed.
What were they fighting over? What were they fighting over?
You had one group that wanted to control where they were. But they all agreed that your black ass, like my black ass, wasn't eligible to be in that competition. Period. Native Americans, nobody. Wait, hold on. I'm saying this. When you say that they brought over here slaves.
I got my hand raised.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
First of all, this is what I'm going to say first. Okay, wait, that was a little bit redundant. We tried it again. First of all, anytime one man puts a price tag on another man and gets a receipt of sale, there's injustice and inequality. That shit's been happening since the beginning of time. All right? It's happening now. We so messed up by slavery, we ain't doing it. Is that when it comes to even our people, we haven't even accessed and taken advantage of the monetary aspect of the work of healing our people. We have not aligned with the system to be able to monetize the work that we do on a very cultural level. Only we can, but because we haven't shown up to show evidence that, yo, we will take care of our own, it's outsourced and hundreds of millions is going into these systems that is fucking us up on purpose.
But Shaka,
I had the privilege of telling my story on Saturday, thanks to Nation Building. And however people felt, however sobering my story might have been, they took it home with them. Some of the instances might be jarring around in their heads right now, like, man, I could have very well been part of his detriment. But they've taken it home, and however they're processing it, they are preparing themselves for when they have to get back into that conversation. And either they're going to show up with excuses, or they're going to show up with an open ear.
But hold on, Shaka.
Because for someone who, go ahead.
All I want to say is that when we put motherfuckers in our place and say shit like they came over here and they were slaves, right? We kind of level the playing field so that our grievances, our grievances not is not recognized because it's sort of like I'm not done. Let me finish, please. It's sort of like when we allow individuals to throw our struggle into people of color. It watered down everything. Stop watering down my struggle and stop watering down my claim, God damn it. Because nobody has a claim that we have. Period.
So what? It was not. I never said it was the same, I feel. But slavery has existed since the beginning of time, and all people have been
never like how you experienced it. Never like you experienced it.
Okay, in America. You're absolutely
so now. So you telling me? Hold on. So when we talk about America, and you talk about slavery, you got to be very clear because when you say white, there was no white people. There was no white people. Hold on. There was no people. Go ahead.
Please let me end this conversation. Please let me bury this. Let me bury this. And this is what I'm going to tell you, Hatem. At no time I said the word slavery.
Yeah, you did.
The one thing that ticks me off, that ticks me off is that if I say the word slavery, the word black African is going to pop in your head. That's the first issue.
Why is that an issue?
Wait
a minute, hold on, time out. See, because that's that part of that illusion that we want to play. Family, when we talk about slavery, we're not talking about what was going on in Europe. We're talking about American slavery. There was
slavery. All I said was slavery.
My point is this. Not only
all people have been enslaved. All people. Black people are not the only people that have been enslaved.
What the fuck that got to do with us? What that got to do with us?
Race-based slavery.
Time out.
I made a comment.
What they got to do with us?
Early America. I made a comment about early America. And let me tell you,
you are early America.
Slavery.
There's nobody that's been here longer than you, except for the Native Americans.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Please let me just say this. When we think about what occurred here in early America, and I'm going back to 13 colonies, why the gross majority of slavery may have been legal throughout the 13 colonies, but there's a reason why the gross majority of slaves, and they even outnumbered the whites in the South. And it was because the soil in Massachusetts, the soil in Rhode Island, all of these places that are north, there was no, you couldn't, it was too rocky. The soil was too rocky. The damn, the weather was too cold. They were not doing, the slavery
time
was
for
differently
folktale too. I agree.
Than it did down there. So when I and let me just finish this. I do know when I'm talking about when they first came over, I'm not talking, I don't want nobody to picture what happened in the South or what happened with
slavery. Didn't start in the South, baby. It started in the places that you're saying.
What I am telling you is before at its conception, when they were figuring it out, when they were dropping those slaves off in the Caribbean, having them produce sugar and things of that sort, they too did this to the people that had the same color of skin of them, but that they did not identify with because they thought that they were better.
All right. Hey,
I got something to say.
Let's stop. Hold on. Let's stop this conversation and move to the second, because I got two people that said we need to move to folktale number 2, because me and Lady J is never gonna see eye to eye on this, because this whole humanity thing bothers me. It just bothers me. But and I'm
what is this humanity piece?
Because it's like
we're the only people enslaved.
See, but
and I don't want
in our history, that was a major
I don't care.
Listen.
I don't care.
Listen.
I'm gonna make
that's
sure
you.
Then
don't care about them. Let them. When we get there and fight for a reparation check, you gonna share your half with them. Fuck that. My kids is getting what we supposed to get.
I didn't say I was sharing my.
Hold on, time out. Everybody suffers slavery. Let's just play everybody. Hold on. The flea and the ox. The flea and the ox. Because Lady J got me hot. This is the second time today, girl, you done did that.
I don't
You
know
arguing
why.
with me.
I don't know
You know what I'm
why.
saying? I mean, good God Almighty. Hey, but I love this woman
I don't
because
even know why.
listen, because she thinks and she has her own thoughts, and I appreciate that about her. And we get to sharpen our swords. You understand, family? This is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Because we both warriors. A warrior is one who has experienced in conflict, right? Experienced or engaged in conflict. And what we have to do is we have to be friends enough to be able to cross our swords and then walk away as friends. Because me and her still will remain friends. A lot of y'all can't even argue with people.
Can I say something before you talk about the fleet? Can I just say one thing?
Here come the troublemaker. Go ahead, Mr. Shaka C. Young Hasbury.
And listen here. All I want to say is this. We have the luxury of coming from a culture that had been enslaved versus being individuals who were enslaved. Because right now, in present day, there's more money being made with sex slaves who are all isolated and who are all different kind of colors of the rainbow. And at the end of the day, there's no race of people that are advocating for their freedom. So the piece is, let's go ahead and move on to the flea and the ox, and we'll talk about that, put that conversation in a different box.
All right. I'm just going to say one word and I'm gone. Blockchain. You know what the original blockchain was? Was your ass and me chained together. We was the original blockchain. We were the biggest come up that this country has ever had. Ever. And I wouldn't, but hold on. I'm sorry. I shouldn't shut my mouth. Go ahead, Lady J. You got 10 seconds. We about to do this flea thing. Let's go.
10 seconds. Okay. I just want to tell y'all, I got a problem. I got a problem with the fact that these people who write history, their story, they like to change the name to make it seem like they were not enslaved. So they'll change and call their white people who they enslaved by another name just to make it seem like my people were the only slaves. And so that when we would think of slave, when we put slave into our song, black people come up. They don't want people to know that their people were at the bottom of the barrel, that they enslaved them as well. Not to the magnitude where my people were. The race-based slavery in the United States was like no other slavery throughout the world at any other time in history because of 3 reasons. But they have changed the history. And that is so that my kids can constantly think of themselves in one way and their kids don't ever have to.
Wait a minute.
In my classroom,
but you know why?
When I speak, I'm gonna make sure that the neighbor, the European American across the hallway from my room knows that her ancestors, if there's a small chance, there is a chance that her people experience some form of slavery too.
Now, I'm gonna say this. And I know are we supposed to stop? I'm gonna say this, Lady J. I'm gonna say this. We are the only ones in the sense that look upon our struggle as if it was a totally bad thing. I embrace my people's struggle. I embrace the fact that I was able to survive something that nobody else ever has. And we need to go on and, in a sense, teach that history properly. And my only thing is, I don't want to water down by saying that somebody else experienced what I experienced. Nobody else had their wounds enslaved. Nobody else had this. Hold on. When you say slavery in America, we need to understand what you're talking about, because you being enslaved and your children being able to leave free is different than anything that you ever experienced.
Correct.
Now, when we're talking about American slavery, that's what we're talking about. What you talking about is somebody that's being worked hard. What you saying somebody being in prison. That's not what we experience. And I'm like this, baby, all I'm saying is that shit, you can't put that shit on par. That's like me. That's like me playing basketball in the park and saying that I'm able to compete with Kobe Bryant in his prime. You understand what I'm saying? This shit, it don't equate. That's all I'm saying. You know, you want to make sure that Europeans in the classroom understand that their people was enslaved, like being enslaved.
I don't think.
Wait on, like being enslaved was just is a badge, is a red mark, a badge of shame. You know what I'm saying? We need to change our mind state, because our people survived else could. Our people, as a matter of fact, America is.
Okay, let me just say this. I'm going to say this, and please let's move on. Today I had a conversation in my class, and the topic of drugs came up. In this, I don't teach any European American children, so when I say some things, I'm actually saying it for the European American that is teaching across the hallway from my classroom. I teach no European American children, but I had a black child tell me today the topic of drugs came up, and she said that white people don't use drugs. White people don't use drugs. So somewhere there has been a seed planted in her head that is grossly wrong. So I said it as loud as I could. I said, they use more drugs. What do you mean? So when we have these things that our kids have been socialized to believe that certain ways, the only point in me saying that about slavery was to say that, and I'm talking about in general. We know that slavery is the art of war, correct? So to have this idea that every time we say the word slave and African pops into your head is a mouth injustice for me. When I talk about race-based slavery in the United States, that is one thing. But what I was saying, my whole point in saying it was that this whole idea, like I said, they'll call slavery, they'll make sure that nowhere in the history book does it mention that Europeans at some point were enslaved by other Europeans. Not in them, and maybe their slavery, even when they sent them to America and they tried to exploit them, it wasn't like what happened to the blacks. I did not say that it was, and nor did I mean to compare it. But I was saying that to say that just how those white people didn't come to defend that poor white trash, they will exploit, they will take advantage, they do all of these things to their own kind. We've seen it in Europe many times. That's all I'm saying. That was my whole point. Not to compare the two, not to say that anything that happened to them compares what happened to us, and nor did was it in the same amount of time, nor did it last as long. But I'm saying that the people in power that controlled and owned the wealth, who distributed wealth, they tried it.
Resolved.
Exactly. If you would have said that in the beginning, we wouldn't even have this whole spiel. If you would have said that in the beginning, that's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, bye. Bye, I can't move on.
All right, the flea and the ox.
I think your old age got you not hearing that.
Oh God. I couldn't hear when I was young. You know what I'm saying? Hey, blame it on what you want. But watch what you say, young lady. My fault. You ain't that young either. The flea and the ox. The flea thus questioning the ox. What ails you? That being so large and strong, you submit to the wrongs you receive from men and slave for them day by day, while I, being so small a creature, mercilessly feed on their flesh and drink their blood without stint. The ox replied, I do not wish to be ungrateful, for I am loved and well cared for by men, and they often pat my head and shoulder. Woe's me, said the flea. This very patting which you like whenever it happens to me brings with it my inevitable destruction. Damn, and it got slavery. We just had this long discussion. Damn, we should just went straight to this. Do I need to read it again?
Yeah, and this time, Hatem, before you do, are you still plugged in, man?
Yeah, I'm plugged in. She done wore out my goddamn mic. All this goddamn arguing. Can you hear me now?
Clean it off. That's all that spitting you were doing.
Ooh, that was good. Ooh, lady.
Hey, but you know what? You should go back to, if you can, back in the day, you used to post it so we could read it. And I know you're on live now, and so that they may be getting a little better experience. But I think for those, you know, people like me, I don't know if there's any way that you would be willing to, you know, go back to that old practice of actually posting it so we can read it.
Check this out, family. This is what you can do, because we all got modern technology. All you got to do is Google. Listen, Google the flea and the ox. Aesop is the bomb right now. On any Google device, you could put it in, and the story will pop up. And in some cases, it'll pop up with the moral. All right. So I'm gonna read. I'm gonna try to make it clear. A flea thus questioning an ox. A flea was talking to an ox. As odd as it sounds, Anubis. You know, for as long, this Anubis saying, you know, for as long as I have been in this country, whenever black people have such a heated conversation, it usually does not end on a good note. From my observation, at least, I am really impressed. I'm really impressed with the level of maturity. Man, this is my sister, man. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Man, we sharpen each other. You understand what I'm saying? I want her to be strong-willed. She wants me to be strong-willed. We need that. We need these type of discussions. We can disagree, and we don't have to be totally disagreeable. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what nation building is about, because the whole piece is family unity does not mean that we all agree. You got your way to the truth. I got my way to the truth. I respect yours. You respect mine. Let's keep on walking. Lady J have a whole different philosophy. That's why it works. That's why she able to do what she do. I'm able to do what I'm doing. That's why Shaka's able to do, because we all bring our individual skills as a collective, and we got to understand that we all ain't gonna fit the same suits. We all ain't gonna wear the same clothes. We all ain't gonna wear the same hairstyles, family. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We are warriors. We supposed to fight. We supposed to have arguments, and this get us ready for when. See, because this is like when me and Lady J could have a disagreement, right? And I could be someplace, and I be going against the enemy, and I could stutter, and I might stumble, and she could either post me up or step in for me. You know why? Because she prepared herself, and I could do the same for her. That's how we supposed to be, family. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, back to the flea. Hey, where you from, Anubis? He just brought up some shit I didn't even know. Where you from, Anubis? All right. A flea thus questioned an ox. Flea is talking to an ox. I'm going to read it plain English. A flea is talking to an ox. Hey, man, what ails you, man? What's wrong with you? The being so big, you submit to the wrongs you receive from men, and you slave for them day by day. While a being so small a creature, while me being so small a creature, mercilessly feed on their flesh and drink their blood whenever I want to. The ox replied, I do not wish to be ungrateful, for I am loved and well cared for by men, and they often pat my head and shoulders. The flea looked at him and said, woe's me, woe is me, said the flea. This very patting which you like, whenever it happens to me, brings with it my inevitable destruction. Y'all got it? Uh-oh.
I got it. I looked at that. You were absolutely right. That's all I had to do.
So yeah, it's about time you listen.
Well, let's not cry over spilled milk. Let's jump right into this one, because I bet you we ready. I bet you we ready.
So on my morning shows, usually what I do is tell people what it is. I read it so they know what it sounds like. They might not remember it, but you go and look it up. You know what I'm saying? But I might need to start posting at least the title. I'll try to go to that, Lady J. I appreciate the input. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
Miss Sister Tiandra said a house slave who forgot who she was versus the field. Go ahead. Who want to go first?
So I'll go first this time, so y'all won't think I'm biting.
We know
I'll
you
keep it
don't
real
bite.
short.
We
You
know you don't bite.
know that proverb that says what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yes.
I never totally agreed with that. So I'm just gonna say what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander.
I can dig that.
It's obvious that the flea is saying, yeah, you know, well, they pat your head and that gets you going. But anybody pat my head, I'm dead. Right? Yeah, so what's good for the goose is not always good for the gander.
You got something,
See,
Shaka?
I got something different from that. I got something totally different.
Go ahead.
The thing is, this is the flea that is on the ox. And the flea is saying to the ox, it's that patting on your head that gets me killed.
No.
Flea is a no.
Oh. That ain't what he's saying.
So the flea is a parasite.
Yeah.
Basically. And the flea is like, yo, you so big, man. Why don't you just, I mean, why do you serve them? You know what I mean?
Right.
Why do you let them enslave you? And the ox is like, hey, I'm at peace with it. I do work. They pat me on the head. They feed.
Damn,
so
like a good slave, huh? Shit.
Yeah, that's that slave mentality.
Right. He's, as a matter of fact, he said, I don't want to be ungrateful.
Is that the voice that he got? How, Tim, can you do it again?
Grateful.
Yeah. And so I'm still putting it together in my mind as Lady J, you know, so that's the thing, is that what do you do in this situation, this conversation with a parasite?
But hold on.
That is
what is a parasite? Is a parasite bad?
If he's sucking your blood, I mean, I don't know, huh, Tim? I don't know how you feel about bed bugs and fleas and stuff like that in your house.
No, but hold on. Those aren't the only parasites. Hell, your ass go to the grocery store and you living off of somebody else's work. You a parasite too. I love you.
I don't go
You an entrepreneur. You live off the lifeblood of the people because you trade value. The fleet does a certain thing for others. We got another caller. I think this might be Miss Tiandra. Hello.
Hi, it's me.
How you doing?
I'm cool. How y'all?
Man.
Bless. How you doing, Sister Tiandra?
All right. Is it my turn?
Yep. Go ahead.
So when you read it, I listened, but it made me think immediately of slavery, and I mean even modern day slavery. And the way that Brother Hatem puts it is the Black people who think that they're white, and so they sit up in the master's house, or you know,
or close
vice
to it,
president of whatever organization, what have you, and they're getting their check, you know, on time, or they're getting the pat on their back, and so they completely forgot that this ain't even for me. Like, this ain't even to benefit myself or my people, but because I'm getting the okay from master, then I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna forget who I am and the strengths and the value that I bring and trade that in for acceptance from the white man. And the flea is like, yo, like, you sitting there every time they pat you on your head, you're thinking it's a good thing. But really, that is my demise and it's your demise. Because every time you get a pat on your head, you're like a dog. and you're thinking, oh, this is good. Like, Master really likes me. And you continue to forget who you are. And you just keep going deeper into your demise, deeper and deeper. Whereas the flea's like, F that. At least every time I start to get close enough to the Master where he swats at me, I die. Because F that shit. I don't need to be your friend. I don't need your acceptance. You know, I'm going to do my job. And I mean, I'm going off into a tangent, but do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's exactly what I see.
See, now,
I
want to just change a word. The flea, the ox has a job. The flea is an entrepreneur.
Yes, that's good, brother Tim.
You know what I'm saying?
The flea works in the village. The flea remembers where it came from and understands, like, even if it costs you your blood colonizer, I'm about to go get your blood.
Exactly.
Still bring it back to my family.
I'm gonna bring it back. You know what I'm saying? So now this is the challenge, family, because it's getting close. Because y'all know I gotta get up and do this toast. We have went an hour and 20 minutes. My wife cutting her eyes at me and shit. So you know that means that the journey, at least at this point, needs to come to an end. And my mic is wet, as Lady J has pointed out, that I spit a lot and my mic is wet. Thank you, Lady J, for sharing my business. You know what I'm saying? That shit's cool. I'll get you on the next show. You know what I'm saying? With your smart ass, right? And I want to let all of y'all know I appreciate you listening in. I love each and every last one of you. And like I said, you know, activate the reticular formations, because tomorrow we're moving into a Jima, and let's find examples of collective work and responsibility in our community.
Do we get to give a shout out, a leaving message tonight?
It depends on what you're gonna leave the message on, because if you leave it on some shit that's gonna start an argument, no. But if you're gonna say your thing.
Same message I leave every time I film. It's time to rise and shine. Just remember, we are in the midst of the Great Awakening. Continue to do things that are in support of the movement. Reading books, donate to a cause, volunteering your time, services. Anything that you can do, posting on social media, protesting, march, signing petitions, participating in boycotts. Just remember, family, if we want change, we got to learn to keep more change in our pockets.
Ashe. It's on you, Shaka.
It's on me. What about Sister Tiandra?
Sister Tiandra, get on, drop her shit and roll. Sister Tiandra is back on Facebook. That's how she do. She like Batman. You know what I'm saying? Your ass turned around, Commissioner Gordon, and you missed it. She gone.
Right. Okay. That's what it is. Well, this is what I'm going to say. Now, look. Now, everybody that's listening to us, you all are starting to hear, even though we have so much commonality that brings us together as nation builders, we got different boxes, yo. And I respect everybody's box. I respect that Hatem feels that the Black experience is one that is unique and should not be merged into other movements, because then we lose the value of our individual struggle. I get that. I, for one, I look at, I think that a lot of times when we quote people, like one day I think it was Lady J that quoted or spoke of Joan of Arc, and we were talking about how a lot of times we relate more to the underdog because that's what we've been. When we watch a movie, when there's a protagonist in that movie, we draw to that individual because they're the underdog in the story in some way. And I think that in this culture, and even with the story that I started off with, we need to realize that we're not the only one at war. And we also need to realize that when we do get on that level of understanding with others and where they're willing to understand us, that's where the prize is at. Because that's where we're able to establish real alliances with those who have resources that we may not have, or those who may understand processes the way that we don't know because of where they're at. And they become the new spooks at the door. You understand? So, or they become the Trojan horse that gets us into places that we typically wouldn't be welcome. And so the question.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Huh?
Here we go.
No, I just want to say you're the
Let that man finish. Let him finish his thought. Let him finish his thought. Go ahead, Shaka. She's so
Is that
mean.
really what you want to say? I can't see your face, so I can't see if she's being sarcastic.
She's about to start some shit. Go, man. Finish your thought.
No.
But at the end of the day, I want to leave y'all with one simple phrase. It's simple to me because I say it all the time, but en la catch. En la catch. It's Mayan for I am the other you. So to cause you harm is to cause myself harm. And on the flip side of that, I am the other you. I love you like I love myself. When we in humanity can truly embrace that sentiment, not the thought, but the sentiment, and we understand that in each other, then we have truly evolved into the culture that we've come to create.
Can you say that word again in a meaning, please? Can you post it in Gye-Nyame?
Sure. You want me to say it or you want me to post it? Or both?
Both. Both.
Okay. En la catch. Phrase is 3 words. EN LAK ECH. Now I spell it ETCH because I represent an artist movement. But ECH. En la catch means I am the other you. To cause you harm is to cause myself harm. I am the other you. I love you like I love myself. Ashe?
Ashe.
Ashe.
And family, I want to thank you. I want to remind you, y'all know I got to come back, but I'm going to hold it to the next show. Right? I'm going to keep my mouth shut. It's so hard. You know what I'm saying? We on this universal shit. But hey, this is my family. And I want to remind y'all, you are now listening. Gye-Nyame Journey Media. This is a Heart of a Simba production. And of course, you are now listening to hashtag FFGF, also known as Folktales for Grown Folks. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms. Miss Tiandra, say good night, Brother Hatim. Is there a more culturally appropriate way we say that? Stop it, Tiandra. Stop it, Tiandra. See? They were, you know what I'm saying? They was trying to stop us from. I'm about to go, man. I got to go. I can't be sitting up here arguing with you two young people all night, man. Y'all get up. Listen, so family, I'm saying peace to you out. We out. YouTube, click the like button and ring that bell, as my daughters would say.